Hey, what's up, my friends? I hope everyone's doing well. Man, look at this guy. I am in love, dude. This is Ocular Max, or MMC Ocular Max to be very, very precise. This is their drift figure. They call him Blur, and goodness gracious, look at all the details over here. This is sword storage, by the way. And what's crazy is that this can actually tuck away when you're in auto mode. Look at that, dude. That's so cool, dude. They thought of everything, man. These guys are nuts. Absolutely one of the giants in the space. Very, very, very few people do it like MMC. And while we're kind of looking over the details, I just want to say thank you. Your time is precious. My time is precious. Everyone's time is precious. But the fact that you chose to click that thumbnail and chose to spend your time with me here, hopefully for a long while, so it helps with the retention and promotion of this video. But I appreciate it, however many minutes it is. I really, really do, man. Yeah, man, everything is vying for our time these days. You know what I mean? From movies, from YouTube, from games, from touching grass, everything, everything requires a donation of time. That's why they always talk about time is money. That is such a true statement that I didn't quite understand when I was young, but I do so now as an adult, as an old crusty adult, I may add. And so, yeah, once again, thank you. I was going to say, as much as I love this character and I find very few flaws with it, this is one of them. And what that is there's no real convincing way. There's no tab on here that allows it to sit securely within the fist. I mean, the fingers are strong enough, which is very, very surprising because oftentimes toys don't have grip strength. And so it will hold it in its hand, no problem. But this one over here has a little hook mechanism. So you see that? That's on the outside of the palm. Outside of the hand. This doesn't have that, and I wish it had something a little bit extra, but nonetheless, he holds it just fine. And as you can see, he also has a storage over here, which is very, very cool. Because I'm saying, oh, very, very cool. It just kind of popped out. I just need to kind of situate this right. But yeah, no, it's really, really nice that he has all of these things baked in. And then if you want to see how this, let me just pop that out of his hand. The fingers feel nice and secure. At the same time, they are delicate, so of course you want to be mindful when you are manipulating them. But yeah, you see this thing over here? This is sword storage. And so you just plug that in like that. I think that's okay. I think it would have been cooler if it could sit at an angle. That would have been nice. I also found that the way that this tucks into, vehicle mode, you could also just have it like that as well. And so you don't necessarily need to pop it up. And I almost prefer this, actually. But nonetheless, just very, 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 very nice, man. Seriously, I'm in love, dude. Oftentimes, I get enamored with my toys, and this is certainly one of them. Not just with the toy itself. It's not that I'm, like, glazing over this dude thinking, like, oh my god, you're so hot. I mean, he is pretty hot. But it's more of, like, the accumulated efforts of the manufacturer, the toy designers, the factory that pumped this out. Everybody involved, man. This is a holistic aggregate love letter to the fandom, meaning like I appreciate you as a consumer. I appreciate the hard-earned dollars that you spent to own this. And so I'm going to give you something in return, and that's what this is. And it's just really, really, really nice. And they don't really sacrifice anything either. You know what? They actually incorporate more. There's a steering wheel in here. There are car seats and everything. And it just goes to show that you don't necessarily need to rely on like spaghetti Western engineering, like how we saw with Streetwise, to get a good-looking character. And not to harp on, my pile on to my ex-transbot criticism, but there are ways to do it properly, And these guys are just more skilled engineers, that's all. Look at this crazy shoulder butterfly. Like, look at this, man. Nuts, right? It actually slips out as well as part of the transformation. And so you can get him into some really, really interesting poses. I mean, yeah, granted, it does expose this giant gape over here. But again, that's just me just being extra with it. Otherwise, it's pretty fine. There are some areas of collision, similar to the other drift that we had seen in that, like the Wonder Trans one. And that unless you try to like move this out of the way, this arm can't really go forward. You know what I mean? And so you have to move the entire arm up, and then you get subjected to that. But again, man, it's pretty minimal. And from what I understand, the alt mode is a nod to this anime called Initial D that I watched a long, long time ago. Except the deco is different. He has these cool little red stripes versus the standard white. But nonetheless, it is the same vehicle. And he's very beautiful, dude. Just bought car engineering, everything. I could seriously just look at this for hours and hours and extol upon its virtues. I think I'm using those words right. Another cool thing is that when you see stuff like this slipping in here, there's no real plastic flexing or anything going on. They made it so that this, you see that gap? You can open this up so that the plastic doesn't have to like flex. That's really, really just smart and considerate. And same thing over here as well. Like I really, really dislike when you have to flex and bend stuff. And even in the instructions, they're like, yeah, bend it a little bit. I'm like, well, I don't want to, you know? I feel like I'm messing with the structural integrity of the plastic. And I'm not happy when I have to do stuff like that. Even within the chest, you see that great, great detail. There's no overspray. The plastic has been polished, and so it's really, really smooth and very, very nice. And the areas that have paint have the paint applied very well. It looks clean, and virtually nothing bad I can say about this other than some of the things that I have already mentioned, you know. Lots of great posability, and they use ratchets where necessary. Like the legs, there's oftentimes a lot of weight bearing down. When you put your toys in specific positions, the gravity and everything starts bearing down on the legs. So it's just a really, really smart choice putting ratchets there, even though there isn't metal down here. And I'm fine with that. Like people, you don't have to use metal to make your thing feel expensive or sophisticated. Just put in good engineering, put in a lot of good plastic. And yeah, man, and that's it, dude. That's all you really need to do. People have talked about the legs being somewhat complicated, and I can understand that, but it's really more involved than complicated. And once you see, you'll be like, oh, that's not that bad. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's quite ingenious. And also the arms as well, because one of the things that you do have to be specific about is the orientation of the shoulders and the way the pins and the joints are facing. And all of those things are outlined in the instructions. And yeah, now that we've kind of talked about him at length and just how gorgeous he is, why don't we move on to the transformation, because that's really a treat in of itself. And so yeah, let's do that. And again, before we dive into that, I just wanted to say one more time, thank you to you for watching. Thank you to MMC Ocular Max for creating this incredible toy, and a big thank you to my sponsor TF Safari for sending this to me. I don't know, man, I just have an attitude of gratitude right now, and I just wanted to express that to everybody. Alrighty, Aphrodite, let's get on with the transformation. As you can see, I have fast forwarded one section. It's a bit early in the morning and I wanted to kind of practice on it, and yeah, it was relatively easy. And it starts with the fist, and we're going to ball the fist up and we're going to spin it around 180 degrees. And after you've done that, you're going to fold everything up so that it lays flush against the forearm, like so. They are using pins, but they are extremely well tolerant, and additionally, they utilize these kind of knuckle joints to ensure that nothing is kind of flopping around. And what I mean by knuckle joints is if you've ever cracked your knuckles, you kind of have to like force it, and then it kind of like click, right? Similar to that, you just kind of gently force it through that little area. You can see how it's carved out like that, and it will stick in place. And all their joints are just so buttery and silky smooth, and it's a really good feeling. It's a really nice experience, tactile senses and all that. And so next what we're going to do is, oh, you know what? This kind of came undone. This bit is actually tabbed into the front. So you're going to lift it up. At the same time, that piece that I just kind of pushed in, you do need to push it out a little bit to give yourself a little bit more clearance. And you need to lift this up. But don't just ham-fist it and try to yank it up. I can show you over here. You know what? I can actually show you here as well. You can see there are a variety of levers, right? And so on this side, you need to kind of separate this and lift it up like that. You see that, right? And so as you're doing that, you can lift up the front. And the goal is now to fold this piece into here. And if you find that you don't want to flex it, I mean, it doesn't really flex too much. If you don't want to do that, you can actually bring this entire piece outward. And that makes it easier to just kind of close this up. And this piece, you'll rotate in at the same time. You will bring all of this down and then just kind of slide in everything together over here, like so. Easy peasy, right? And then now what we're going to do is this arm will collapse in on itself. You see that little slot over here? There is a corresponding tab right on the inside there. And so you want to make sure that you are lining up the arm to basically fit in there. So it might take you a little bit because you'll be kind of like fishing around in the dark to get that to work, but now that's in there. And then from here, we'll just kind of push this down and have that tab in place. And that's the front of the car. Nice, right? Oh, and we can just close this up. And this is how everything will look from the back. And that's the first stage. Just give me a second to take a couple of breaths and I'll be right back. Really quick, just to kind of break the fourth wall. I have a lot of different personalities and personas, but I think I enjoy myself the most when I'm like this, when I'm calm, when I'm collected. I've done my mantras, my meditation. I've had discussions with my assistant just to kind of get me in the right mind frame. It's really that attitude of gratitude, and going through this really kind of calms me down in the morning. And I like this attitude a lot, and I think I'm going to continue to channel this going forward. Again, there are many versions of me, but for the time being, this suits me well. It's just like having a lot of different pairs of clothes, right? But this one, I like the sweater the most, and so I guess I'll keep wearing it for a while. The next piece over there, you might be like, what are you talking about, bro? And that's okay. That's okay. You're going to open this piece up, and this, you're going to bring down these seats until this flips backward, like that. Because you need to open this piece up, otherwise the head won't be able to go through. See right now how it's having a bit of difficulty? It's because I have not brought this back. There you go, to its full potential. Then you could bring this down. Then you could slip the head through. No flexing, no bending, no stressing, just all smooth, just all smooth. And next, from here, we can, oops, excuse me. We can, wait. Oh, there we go. We can bring this in like that. And the same thing over here. Flip that up, spin that, and then just tab in these two sides together. And look, everything in place, ace. And that's the front of the vehicle. That's the front of the ride, Clyde. Cool, huh? Super duper neato. And then from there, we can bring all of this down, and you can tab the front windshield into the front of the car. And it does a pretty good job of cleaning up the seams. It's not a crazy jigsaw puzzle. One of the unfortunate things, again, I just got to talk about XTV Streetwise. All of this stuff just kept on falling off. It just wouldn't stay in place. And so, you know, XTV, if their engineers just kind of leveled up their skill, which is a difficult thing to do. It's so much easier to say, you know, if they improved their skill and they improved, the parts, the plastics that they use, and just kind of intelligently think about where they're placing their metals in relation to their pin joints, I think they could go a long way, man. I really, really do. But they've been in the game for such a long time and they haven't changed their ways. And so I don't think they're going to start now. Well, anyway, so these lats over here, the ribs, we'll just kind of push these in. And that's, again, very, very satisfying. And the roof of the car is right here. And that will secure. And you'll need to do a little bit more securing of the roof later on as we plug the legs in. I can't quite get this to flip around. Give me one moment. You know, it's crazy. All I needed to do was push it forward, and it just locked in place, and it became super flush. Boy, I can appreciate stuff like that. And then from here, we'll spin the waist around. Just make sure you clear that. And then we can start prepping the doors. We'll open this up, and this will all come over here. We'll keep the doors open for now. Initially, I was going to say, when I got the toy, see these windows, how they're on a bar? You can move them up and forward, but make sure that they are in the rear position. Otherwise, you won't be able to close the door properly. But I believe in the robot mode, this is supposed to sit up. And I'm not sure if that's for the sake of the sword scabbard. But nonetheless, just be kind of mindful of that. And we will close the door as part of the last step. Because one of the things that you're going to do is, you see that little tab? You're going to bring that around, and you're going to tab that in there. Dude, I was going to say, I know it's still October, but man, Toy Fair is in February next year. And last year, Blockkeys had invited me to be their guest. I hope they invite me again. It'd be nice to go there. And knowing that more influencers are going to be present at the event, I'll kind of plan ahead of time and maybe try to arrange to meet some people. I would love to break bread and have dinner with them. And just talk about being a content creator and things like that. And so, But yeah. Anyway, we'll keep this open. But yeah, that's a pipe dream of mine, and we'll see. We'll see. The toy fair registration has opened up, and when I register as press because that's what content creators are considered. But it's not fully fleshed out, so I can't really quite register. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, moving on to the legs. I know I'm just kind of breaking the fourth wall, but isn't that more enjoyable how we're just kind of talking? Like, I'm not just presenting this as a toy review, but we're kind of engaging in discourse and dialogue, even though I'm the only one talking. I think it's kind of nice, man. I think it's kind of nice. So, you know what? Let me actually transform one half of this like I did a second ago earlier, just to refresh my memory, and then we'll dive into this section, okay? Okay, so here we are. This is what it's going to look like when we're done, right before the final step where we close everything together. And this starts with this section being lifted up. And there's going to be a little white tab in here, a white panel that you are going to lift up. And this next section, what you need to do is right over here, you need to untab this silver bit from this white part. That's what actually locks everything in place. It's a pretty tight fit and quite necessary in my opinion. So I appreciate them for that. And this is where it may look a little bit difficult. This needs to come over to this side, but obviously you can see that there's collision here, right? So what you need to do is you need to bend this foot back like that, right? And then this will allow it to spin. And then we are going to return the foot back this way. And then from here, see this little shin section? You're going to compress this. You're going to press that down. And so it will kind of buckle underneath the weight. And the foot is on a double hinge. And you want to make sure that you use the rear hinge to bring the foot up. And after that, you're going to just push this down. And this little circle thing will sit into that groove like that. And everything will sit flush. Very cool, right? And then from there, we will begin to flip. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. And the knee, we'll just slip that in there. Again, very, very flush. And then we'll keep that like that. And then we'll bring that up like so. And that's going to be the rear of the car. And so what we can do now is we can actually start tabbing in the two halves. Just want to make sure that they're both perfectly aligned with one another. We can get the roof tabbed in. We can get the tail tabbed in. We can get this section tabbed in. And so, yeah, just kind of go about each piece and making sure that they are secured with one another. Making sure that these are also secured. Yeah, maybe I should have done that first. There's a section. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Here, you know what? Let me undo this. This piece, it has to be flipped around. Totally forgot about that. Otherwise, you won't be able to tab these two halves together like so. And there you go. Now everything is lined up. And now everything you can tab in place. But yeah, the legs, not too difficult, right? You just kind of had to understand what they wanted you to do. And once you got that, you're just like, oh, it's just an order of operations at that point. Great, great. Look at all that, man. Even just the innards, it just looks so, so nice. And then from here, we'll kind of bring this down. And you want to make sure that this passes this bar so that it can tab underneath here. So kind of do that. There you go. And then from here, bring this down. And then straighten. Keep these tabbed in. Remember to keep these tabbed in. And this section connecting here will be a little bit tight, intentionally, because it's the two half of the vehicles connecting in to one another. And I'm pretty sure I have done everything right, and it's just a matter of really kind of pushing all of that in place. I wonder, hold on. I wonder if I have, yeah, that's another thing. Forgot to orient those properly. That's what was kind of getting in place. And so, yeah, I'm not, I don't have this down perfectly yet. I'm still kind of working through it. Again, just little things to be mindful of. And then press those things in as best as possible while keeping this pressed into to their respective tabs. And once you do that, and once you get this, you can kind of bring all of this down like that. And then you can bring this rear section down. Oops. They do tab into the side, and I kind of forgot to do that. Little things that I'm forgetting here on our journey, friends, that I'm having to just flex the plastic out a little bit, but that's on me. There, there, there. Satisfying. And satisfying. Satisfying. That's so good, isn't it? That's so good. It's nice, man. Oh, I absolutely love it. Rubber tires that wheel pretty freely, not too much obstruction. This gap, again, if you can just press it in tighter, but whatever, dude, I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. This side probably cleans up a little bit better. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful red stripes. The deco and paint, just wonderful. A little license plate area over here, exhaust area over here. Undercarriage is just really clean. Everything about this just screams quality, and also screams I care about you as the consumer, and also I have a tremendous amount of pride as a toy manufacturer and developer. All of that is this love letter that's encapsulated in this toy, and it's really just it's just a treat. It's just a treat to be able to experience things like this as a content creator and as a toy enthusiast in my lifetime. Even got little kanji characters over here. That's pretty cool, man. But yeah, man, that's been the vehicle, and that's pretty much been the review. Once again, I just want to thank you for being here. Your time is super duper precious. I can never state that enough. And so to spend it with me, watching this video and just kind of like engaging in this somewhat one-way discourse, I appreciate you so much for it. I appreciate MMC Ocular Max so much for producing this toy, and I appreciate TF Safari for taking a chance on me and continuing to sponsor me throughout these years. And I'll talk to you guys again soon, okay? Stay tuned for more giveaways. I hope you guys have been appreciating them. So pay attention to the posts, the shorts, the long form videos, because I'll announce the giveaways in different ways. You know what I mean? Anyway, my friends, take care, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Ciao.